Good day, RGV. Today on Valley por Vida, we've got a lot to talk about. Okay, we're going to be diving into some financial adulting tips that new graduates can take with them as they begin their new life journeys. We've also got the latest on what's happening at the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, family-friendly events that you won't want to miss out on. Plus, we're breaking down the latest when it comes to the history of college, all about different clubs and interesting things regarding student life throughout the years. There's a lot going on, so don't go anywhere. Valley por Vida starts right now.
I'm living local 'cause it's where I love to be.
Hey there, and thanks again for joining us today. I'm your host, Danielle Banda. Now, I've got a question for you. Are you on social media? Better yet, if you are on it, how much do you use it? In today's modern society, it can be easy to fall into the trap of the digital world, allowing ourselves to be consumed by everything online. But even though it's good to keep up with the times, is it healthy? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at how we can gain positive effects from abstaining from social media, even just for a little bit. So according to Parade.com, apparently our mental health can vastly improve when we make a decision to quit social media. The site says that while we may feel a little bit disconnected at first, it actually helps our bodies to take a break from online networks for a little while, not just our brains. See, when we get off of our devices, we give our eyes time to adjust and time to get out of that negative eye strain pattern that we don't even notice. The site says that on average, 50% of computer and cell phone users experience strained eyes, and so it's important to be mindful of this. And it also says that we can feel way less stressed when we get off of our phones and overall social media networks. See, even though we might not realize it, we experience levels of anxiety and depression when it comes, to scrolling through our online feeds. Often our minds naturally compare our lives to those of others, and we feel feelings of jealousy or sadness, even when we don't notice that it's happening in our own heads. The site says that quitting social media, though, even just for a little bit, it can definitely help us be more in the moment, more present, more grateful when it comes to, what we need to focus our attention on in our own lives. The site also outlines that quitting social media can even help improve our sleep. I know. Who would have thought, right? But apparently it helps you to feel some relief, when it comes to the subtle stressors in life. And it'll help us feel a little bit of an ease when it comes to our responsibilities. The site says that when we're on social media so much, especially late at night or before bed, it can cause even greater sleep disturbances. So it urges that it's a good idea for us all to take a minute and just really think about how much we use our social media networking platforms and just not be so afraid to put it away and log out. Personally, I have app limits on my phone, and I try not to log on to social media on the weekends sometimes, just to kind of give my head some breathing room. But of course, do whatever you think works best for you in your life. And don't be afraid to put your phone on Do Not Disturb if you need to. Whatever you got to do to protect your mental health is what you should do. And get this, the site even says that it can help us be more productive when we take a break. Apparently, when we scroll through hours of our social media feeds, even when we log out, we're not really exactly focused. Our brain is still thinking about what we just saw subconsciously. So naturally, when we log off, we allow our brains to disconnect from all the information, and instead we can use our energy to really pay attention to what matters, whatever the task at hand is. When we dedicate more time to the important things rather than mindless scrolling or meaningless posting, we're definitely able to increase our overall productivity, which of course is great. And when we're able to sleep better and, be more productive, it only makes sense that we'll feel good about it. And that ties directly into our self-confidence. Our bodies are rested and energized, so, we're more willing to dive in deeper when it comes to projects and things that we have to do. The site says that when we quit social media, we're able to connect well with others, and this helps us improve our relationships. Our overall sense of well-being is not the only thing that can benefit from us logging off, though, just a little bit. The site also says that we can greatly improve our posture by disconnecting too. I mean, think about it. All that time that we spend hunched over our phones or crouching over our desks, to better get a glimpse of our digital screens can really do a number on our backs. We need to remember to sit upright and stand positively facing our phones or computers. That way we don't put so much extra strain on our backs. But of course, getting off social media means we're naturally going to be less inclined to put ourselves in that position to begin with. So, getting off social media doesn't have to be something that we do cold turkey. Keep that in mind. As long as we're mindful of it and just consider some of these tips, then we can definitely see an improvement in our lives. It is, after all, our daily habits that cause a lot of our outcomes in any situation. So it's important to keep in mind any helpful tips that can lead to happier and healthier ways of living. Whether it be, about work or personal goals, advice can go a long way, especially when we're at a young age, like a high school graduate, for example. One of the key things that they'll need to learn about regards finances. But what about money should they know about and prepare for exactly? Well, author Ashley Feinstein-Gerstley authored Financial Adulting, everything you need to be financially confident and conscious as an adult. And we had the chance to speak with her to learn all about this.
I'm Ashley Feinstein-Gerstley. I'm the author of Financial Adulting, and I'm excited to talk to you about some financial tips for new college grads. So I want to give some concrete, actionable tips, and I think the biggest three that I would love to share, the first is that we can take small, consistent steps. I think there's this idea that we have to figure everything out overnight or overhaul our finances overnight, and it doesn't have to be that way. And I think that actually sets us up for failure. So I would recommend that if new grads are tackling this area of their lives, this financial wellness area, to try to take a positive financial step per week, and then you'll really see results and be able to keep that going. So I'd say that's number one. And then the second is to put together a plan or a budget. And I know budgets get a bad rep. We think of them as these things that are going to restrict us and limit our fun, but they're actually, I think, an act of self-love, a gift to ourselves, because they allow us to plan to spend our money and to allocate our money in the way that will make us the happiest in the short and long term. That's why I call them happiness allocations. I think they need a rebrand, and it can give us so much peace of mind. It can reduce our guilt in our spending. So definitely would recommend, when you're getting that first paycheck, to put together that plan or budget, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So start with that. And then the last tip I'd say that's super, super important is to pay yourself first. This is a tip that I learned the hard way. And I think we think of saving sometimes as putting aside money that's left over. So we earn money, we live our lives, we pay everyone else, and then we hope that there will be money left over to save. And in my experience, even if I got a raise or a promotion, there's still no money left over when I do it this way. So we want to transfer that money first and foremost, and it can be a small amount, but to our savings account, to an online savings account, so that we are prioritizing saving for ourselves. So I wrote Financial Adulting, my latest book, because it is the guide that I wish I had when I started my money journey and when I started trying to figure this all out. And so every chapter breaks down a different personal finance topic on everything from budgeting, goal setting, retirement, estate planning, taxes, paying down debt. So I really cover it all. And I interviewed 35 brilliant experts to give different perspectives. And even though I've been doing this for over 10 years, I'm still learning. And I think that's the positive, and the negative is that the positive is that you don't have to know everything. I still make mistakes. I'm still learning, but it's also a lifelong journey. And so that the book, I have the experts in it, and it also has a workbook component.
All right, well, let's take a quick commercial and weather break, but when we come back, we're going to talk all about what's going on at the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, plus interesting info on colleges throughout history. That and so much more when we return.